Hi, my name is Arden, Condez, the director of the film Gendan Trending. I encountered the idea for this film by chance in 2017. I wasn't even planning to come up with the film then, as I was busy doing my job as a writer for a TV network here in the Philippines. But then one day, while I'm on my way to work, I heard a news over the car radio about this mother who discovered a tragic event that happened in her son's life. Her son was just 14 years old. He was accused of stealing an iPad, just like in the film, and because of that allegation, he was bullied on the internet. That bullying led to a more tragic event that also happened in the film. That news story didn't leave my mind since then, and it prompted me to come up with a story for a film. Maybe because I was also thinking that it is about time for someone to come up with a film about the effects of social media in our lives. With this film, I really hope for the audience, especially the teenagers, to be reminded about the responsible social media use. Yes, it is always easy for us to put some nasty words on the internet precisely because we don't see who we are talking to. But I hope people will realize that whatever we put online will always have effects in other people. Yes, it is social media, but it will always remain personal. Yes, it is just a word, but please know that words can still harm people. Most especially teenagers, they are sometimes driven by the outburst of emotions when they say things on social media. But sometimes we need to calm down first, to think our words over before putting them out in the public, because once you declare words publicly, it will be difficult for you to take them back. So we have to be very careful because the last thing we should do is to hurt people. Most of the time, teenagers who are victims of cyberbullying feel that they are all alone, that the battle is just theirs. And so it is very important for us to let them know and feel our presence, that we are right there with them, that we are willing to hear their stories, listen to their feelings, and give them comfort eventually. We need to give them safe spaces. Also, it is important for us to do something about the bullies. The bullies are as wounded as the victims of bullying. So instead of confronting them with anger, we need to deal with them with compassion and patience to educate them on their accountability. This may sound too idealistic, but we need to really exert some efforts to make cyberbullying not cool. For me, bullying exists because most of us remain quiet. Our silence is tolerating the bullies. Our silence gives them a platform. Our silence gives them a lifeline. So when we spot a bullying incident, then call the bullies out right away. It needs a collective effort. We have to make the bullies feel that he or she is alone, that we are not his or her audience. Then I'd like to think they would stop. With this, social institutions that deal with education and the youth in general need to intensify their programs against this cyberbullying. And now that bullying has become more visible online, we also need to beef up our campaign against it. All because this virus forced us to stay at home and lock ourselves in. It made difficult for us to seek out help, personal help, whenever we want. For cyberbullying victims, it became hard for them to reach out to friends. Sadly, this pandemic forces them to deal with such problems on their own. And also, since the only contact that we have to the outside world is through social media, victims become even more exposed to more cyberbullying. That's why we really need to make social media a safe space for them. This is such a difficult question to answer, but because social media has become so influential in our lives, most especially to us Filipinos. We are the number one user of Facebook in the world. We spend more than 10 hours a day in it. Most likely, it is because we also use it to communicate with our families who are all scattered all over the world. We cannot stop its growing influence, but we can still control the content. It is very important for us to amplify our campaigns promoting responsible use of social media. And also, we need to strengthen our programs for the youth that create opportunities for them to connect and communicate in person. We have to remind them the beauty of face-to-face interaction, of bonds that are formed in person. We need to attract them away from social media by creating activities that will interest them to connect with each other personally. Nothing beats friendship formed in real life, and the youth needs to be reminded of that. Well, right after college, I worked as a writer for ABS-CBN, once the largest TV network in the country, until it was shut down by the government last year. I stayed there for 15 years, and then in 2017, I decided to pursue filmmaking as I was looking for something more exciting also. I didn't study filmmaking in college, so I needed to catch up in a different way. I enrolled in filmmaking workshops done by Armando Lau, the mentor of CANA winning director Brillante Mendoza. After that, I made my first short film, and then right after, I already made Gendan for Trending. I think it would be my grandmother. I grew up listening to the fantastic stories of my grandmother. Most of the time, she claimed that these stories, no matter how out of this world they sound, were real. I live in a province where some pre-Hispanic practices still exist. We believe in science, but we also believe in superstitions and shamanism. This mix of the modern and the traditional is what I'm interested to make films about. John Denver Trending, yes, is a story, a modern story about social media, but I made it a point to incorporate our culture in the story. And again, I'm Arden Condez, the director of John Denver Trending, and thank you. Please watch our film.